Hi, everyone, and welcome to Live Your Happy TV. This channel is committed to bringing you a message of love and happiness, and basically to remind you that happiness is your inheritance and happiness is your function. And today's guest, I feel, is a beautiful symbol of that, a beautiful spirit soul in this consciousness, really sharing his joy in his own way. And my husband, Christian, kind of, bumped into him online in the sense of his podcast and really was inspired, and then inspired me to have him on. And I love our topic today. His name, I'll tell you in a second, but he is an international speaker as well as a teacher. They also, him and his wife have a beautiful, beautiful company. It's called Avaya, and they produce conscious material. It's basically like a positive media company. And today's topic is, I love this, of course he's going to be a great guest just by reading the title of what's going to happen today. It's everyday enlightenment, loving the experience of the human theme park. Loving the experience of the human theme park. So Ike, Alan, thank you so much for being here today. I know this is going to be fun and a very enlightening experience for us all. I always say that this world is a circus, so I am excited to see what you have to say about living in the circus and not making it real. So welcome to Live Your Happy TV.
Thanks, Maria. It's great to be here.
Yes, I love the title. And how did you come up with that for today?
Oh, it's, I was actually picking my 9-year-old up at school, and I was looking at the email and thinking, right, I have to, right? We're always making things up. I have to make something up so that I can say, here's something. So it's language that I talk about. I look at life as, I call it the Human Amusement Park, right? Or the Human Theme Park, all the same thing. And I talk a lot about everyday enlightenment because I think often, right, in my experience of the Human Amusement Park, I see a lot of people who make it very serious, and they must go do something very serious to sort of be practicing being awake to what is. So my thing is everyday enlightenment. I'm looking for it all the time. I'm in the grocery store, right? There's everyday enlightenment. I'm talking with a beautiful pregnant woman. There's everyday enlightenment. My daughter is telling me that she doesn't want to take a shower. There's everyday enlightenment. It's everywhere.
Oh, I love that. That's so empowering because I feel that I live a happier life. My experience is that when I don't make things matter and don't make things so serious. So when you come with this term of a theme park, I feel makes it fun and light versus it's so serious,
Yeah. Right. Well, look at Shakespeare, right? All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. We're in one big game, and throughout life we all play different roles, and it's, so why not, right? We all play different roles. Let's play with them. Let's play. Let's have fun with it, right? Remembering to laugh. Let's have some fun with it. Sometimes I do things that right occur very serious. I'm voting for a cause, or I'm taking on something with my 2 daughters, right, to make the world a better place for them or whatever. But, and I can't always say it when I'm out in certain circles, but who I'm being behind all of it is playful. Like, let's play to win passing this new law, right? Or let's play to get the new plastic playground set or whatever. And I occur like I'm really real and really serious about there with people. But what I'm thinking is, I'm really just playing to win, and maybe we'll win this one and maybe we won't. But, it's fun to play with it, but it's always fun to remember, right? Like, oh, right. And I keep stepping back. Oh, right, it really is just a game. It really is. It's a game I'm playing to win in this moment, but it's just a game. Let's not take it too seriously.
Yeah, and I feel that since this world of duality is fragmented, and we are going to experience, never-ending problems in this realm, in the sense of if once we solve a problem, there's always going to be another one. So I feel that this type of mindset is helpful because it takes the weight off, and every time we do come across a problem, we can see it differently, and it has less hook on us if we're riding the Ferris wheel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what I love to talk about is not compromising the message of the Course in Miracles. I feel that we tend to do that. And it's something that I struggled with all my life, when I was going to my course group every week and studying the course for, over 15 years and still being a hot mess. So when I really started to not compromise the message and live in a space of, I take complete responsibility and I walk in the world every day, waking up that I'm not a victim of the world that I see, and forgiving even if I don't want to, just really just embodying that. And that's why, my new book that's out is Live Your Happy. It's really living the Course in Miracles. It's really living the experience. And I felt that I compromised it for so long. So I want to know what that looks like for you, because I feel it's something that we all do. And then we have an epiphany and we're like, this is not working anymore.
Wow. Well, first of all, let me say, I am at this point in time when we're talking, I'm getting ready to put the first of a forgiveness trilogy film out, and you're in it. Just as a side note, just so you know, you're one of the people that's in it. So be more to come about that soon, but yeah, you're in that. So compromise it's an interesting thing, and right, if we really want to take a look at it, the danger is in judging compromise. To sort of take it from a different angle, right? Like, ooh, I'm compromising and therefore I'm going to now judge myself. Mm-hmm. I look at life as living from inspiration, right? So here's what I'd say, right? I deal with a lot of people in, let's call it everything from the A Course in Miracles world to the New Thought world to the Unitarian world. And my experience is some people are really into law of attraction and they are working on manifesting, right, and visualizing and all that stuff. And they're going to create their reality. And like Mike Dooley, I love him. And he's in that world, sort of. I don't want to sort of misspeak to him. I think in a world of what occurs like 7 billion people, I think there's some people here that are having the experience of manipulating the reality. I think it's happening, but I'm not one of them. I think I'm like you. It sounds like we're having a similar experience in that way. I'm not really trying to manipulate my reality. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't believe, right? Like if I slap someone in the face, I'm not going to potentially manifest them slapping me back in the face. But that's, I don't discount that human experience that's going on over there. I think if someone's having an experience of creating their reality and they're closing their hand and ashes appearing, hey, all the power to them. But it's not my human experience. My human experience is that divinity is the character, Isaac or Ike Allen, from the character perspective, right? Like I talk a little bit like David Hoffmeister does. When I identify as the character Isaac Allen or Ike Allen, my character is one that isn't really interested in that. My character is one that believes if I follow inspiration, the whispering of God, the Force, right? The Star Wars, Star Trekky Force all culminated together. I believe it'll all work out perfectly. So I'm not discounting the human experience of attracting, but yeah, that's not my experience. I believe that if I follow what inspiration guides me to do, it'll be a fun ride. I'm not manipulating every part of that ride. I can't predict every part of that ride, but I don't want to predict every part of that ride, right? It's sort of like saying, I'll just go to the store and buy all my Christmas presents if you celebrate Christmas, and then I'll wrap them up, and then I'll pretend like I don't know what's in there. I want there to be some mystery in life. I'm not obsessed with controlling and learning everything. I love to just see how things unfold. And then the opportunity, right, is as they unfold to be like, wow, that just happened. And now how can I be happy about what just happened? How can I be thankful and grateful and appreciative about what happened? It doesn't mean I don't maybe try to tweak things out, but I'm not obsessed with controlling things. I think the universe has my back and it'll all work out fine, however that looks.
You sound just like me, but the boy version. Yeah.
Well, we're both beautiful, so we got that going for us,
I totally dig what you're saying, because I feel that I come from that same space of just really following guidance, allowing, instead of constantly doing or manipulating or controlling, because I did that. I have experienced that type of Maria, and I know that it really led me to unhappiness. And I feel that I let it be done through me is very different than me doing it. And I feel, and I'm happy you brought that up, because I feel very strongly called, and probably that's why you're on the show today, to really start to give a different message, because I see a lot, and I'm not saying it's wrong, because I was also one of those, like, I loved The Secret, and I loved the Law of Attraction, and I was really into it because my ego, I really wanted to manipulate and make things happen. So these were nice tools to, you know, get my ego really excited and use them. And I suffered a lot. And I feel that there's a lot of programs out there, like 5 goals, you know, 5 tricks to, you know, attracting this and manifesting that, and using the Course in Miracles as a tool for that. And I really feel, as being a teacher of the Course, it's very important for me, just like my dear friend Gary Renard, and that's why I brought up the compromise, is to not compromise the message, and not that manifesting is bad or creating is not bad. I'm just saying that that's not the Course's message. The Course's message is actually having a beautiful divine relationship with the Holy Spirit, which is your inner teacher, and really cultivating this relationship so you can remember you've never left the mind of God. And from there, all kinds of really amazing things happen, but they come because it's God's will for you, for your soul to be more awakened. So I love that you brought that up, because I feel that it's, especially nowadays, it's getting a little bit mixed up with a lot of teachers that have big platforms using the Course to manipulate. And I feel that at the end of the day, you know, when you chase a carrot, you know, you're going to want another carrot and another carrot, and there's never enough carrots. As of, I feel, in the Course in Miracles, when you really practice it, again, like I said, without compromise, and you really live from that space of trustful time, you recognize that you have everything and you lack nothing. And that's really the key here.
I would say that's my key again, right? I bring it back to that, right? It's all, you know, I'll say, like, well, what resonates with you? If right, like, fundamental Christianity resonates with you, Susie, all the more power. If Islam resonates with you, Bobby, all the more power, you know, because I can't speak for everyone, but what I'd say is if, you know, like a pretty darn good non-dualistic philosophy or theology like A Course in Miracles resonates with you, then go with it. I try not to get in the world. I totally understand it, because I think a lot of people take A Course in Miracles and they say, A Course in Miracles says this, and that means now you can get a Ferrari. And it's like, well, yeah, if that works for you, great. But if you're looking for the sort of message, what I would say is, and even this is, you know, my opinion, if you want to be peaceful, eventually, A Course in Miracles is a wonderful path to that, right? You know, it's like they say, why does it get harder? Why does it seem to get harder before it gets easier? Because A Course in Miracles is a wonderful path that opens one up to awakening or enlightenment. But if you're really more interested in chasing stuff, yeah, A Course in Miracles isn't really a good path, unless it's manipulated to occur as something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Course in Miracles is like, all A Course in Miracles is saying, like, you know, really hardcore non-dualistic models, is it's really an invitation. Do you want to wake up from the dream? That's my opinion. Do you want to wake up? Nothing else. Do you want to wake up? Are you ready to remember you're already safely at home? If you're ready to be reminded that you're already safely at home, then hey, this is a great path to get you there. But if you still love playing out there and goofing around and try to manipulate reality, or that's the way the experience occurs for you, have at it. You know, I think A Course in Miracles, people like you and Gary and David and, you know, so many others, it's really an invitation. Hey, here's how I sort of guide people, and if this is appealing to you, come on in. But hey, if fundamental Christianity or Jainism works for you, hey, have fun over there too, you know?
Yeah, and I also feel that that's like the individual curriculum of that soul. You know, I had to go through, for me,
Right.
I had to go through what I went through to be able to get to where I'm at, you know? So I feel that a lot of people, you know, whatever they're attracted to, religion-wise or, you know, new thought or whatever it is that they're attracted to is always for the highest best. As I always say, it's always exactly perfect. You know, it's always exactly perfect. But I'm always going to be, you know, if somebody asks me, hey, Maria, you know, I want to create, you know, this apartment, you know, and I want to make sure that I get this apartment. Can we pray for this apartment? You know, I'm going to tell them, yeah, let's pray, but I'm going to pray for peace, you know, peace first.
Yeah.
They kind of look at me like, because whether you get the apartment or not, you know, the goal here is to have peace regardless if you get it.
Right. Or else one is chasing, right, it's the future, right? Living into the imaginary future of when I have a better apartment, my life will be better, right? Then I'll be happy, right? When I have a better car, then I'll be happy. When I have a boyfriend, I'll be happy. When I have a girlfriend, when I get a pet squirrel, right? It's always someday, right? When something's different in the form world, then it'll be okay to be happy, as opposed to, well, you could choose to be happy right now, regardless of whatever occurs as outside of you. Why not just choose to be happy right now?
Yeah, and the ego makes it very you know, just very enticing, and it's conditional, you know. So we're always really sad and upset in this moment because we wish things would be different. You know, that's just the whole thing. We wish it would be different, but if we would understand that's exactly perfect, then we're free. But it's funny, it's a funny, interesting thing about, I don't know if this has happened to you before, and you can share if it has, that, you know, people say if you're very positive and you think good thoughts, you're going to attract good stuff. And my experience was in my life, not necessarily that. At some point, you know, I was in one of the worst places in my life. I was depressed in my 20s. I was searching for my purpose. I was in television and a model at the time and very successful, but very lost at the same time. And I remember getting very insecure and going to an audition for World Wrestling Federation, which is now World Wrestling Entertainment, to work with wrestlers. And they were looking for a host. And at the time I was doing TV hosting, and they had interviewed about 500 girls in New York. And then they came to Miami because they couldn't find the girls. So can you imagine, out of 500, they still hadn't found anybody. They go to Miami, and I go to this audition, and I'm in the worst time of my life. Like, there's no positive affirmations. I am literally a hot mess. I can't get out of my bed, and I got out of my bed because I have no idea I just did that day. And I was so nervous at the audition. There wasn't anything affirmative or positive about that moment, of which out of like 1,000 girls, because they saw another 500 in Miami, a week later, my agent calls me and tells me I got the job. So I feel that a lot of people think that you need to be positive to attract, you know, form success. But I feel also we're going to attract in our lives whatever is the highest thing for our soul growth. And I needed to experience that job and that experience in that job, because it was going to help me grow and to be who I am today. So I also think that sometimes there's a little bit of a thing there. I feel that people think you really need to be positive to create positive things in form, although I don't think that's necessarily true, at least with my experience. It's kind of cray-cray, but it's true.
Well, again, you know, I always sort of try to, you know, sort of keep referencing the fact that with the experience of 7 billion people, I think there's a lot of different human experiences here. And I too would say that, well, here's what I'd say, Maria. Nothing guarantees anything consistently.
Yeah, it's true.
Nothing guarantees anything. Yeah. I think, you know, for me, the ultimate opportunity is to be aware of what is, right? It sounds terribly boring. We've heard it for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, but it sounds oh so boring to just be aware of what is, you know? And I also to look to things like being a witness, right? If you look at the word witness, right? So many people go out and talk when they're witnessing in other religions, and it's such a disconnect for me. Doesn't witness mean to just simply watch? Why are you talking if you're just watching, right? If one is an observer, right, and we'll talk in quantum physics about the observer effect and how things change, but it's about observing, right? So I like to watch life. You know, I get involved in things, but not as involved as maybe I once did, because I think it's interesting to sort of watch and see how things unfold. And sometimes whether I tell someone to go to hell or I tell someone to have a happy day, something still comes into my life. So there's really no rhyme or reason. I mean, I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but we could agree on this. At the end of the day, you know, my happiness is dependent on my willingness to accept what is. And for me, that is, I'm God pretending to be Ike Allen. That's however one wants to language it. I'm God pretending to be Ike Allen, and when I remember I'm already divine, I'm already awake, I'm always safely at home, I enjoy being Ike Allen, but I don't overly control it.
Yeah, and I think that's key what you said of just being completely present to what is, and what I'm hearing here is the word acceptance. I feel that when we completely accept the moment and accept what is versus wanting it to be different, we are free. And I don't really take that lightly. What Jesus says in the course, when which I opened with is, happiness is your function and happiness is your inheritance. And if it's our inheritance, I feel that it's innately ours all the time. Even if we are sad or struggling, it doesn't mean that we're not happy anymore, because happiness is what we are. Is godness, the godness in us. So it's just for a hot second we forget who we are, but it doesn't mean that we're not happy, because if it's in our inheritance, it's us. So I feel that that's just so empowering. I always tell people that they're under the happy umbrella all the time, and yeah, you might forget and have a moment of distress or upset, and but you're still under the umbrella. It doesn't mean it's left you. You're always taking care of in God as God. But I love that you said that, because I feel that in my life that has been very helpful to me is to just not fight the current, not wish for it to be different, and not take things so serious or make things matter so much, or have such a hook on me, and get transed out. Because like you said, the world is an amusement park. I always say it's a circus. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, the key is to not get overly wrapped up in it, and like, if you have a thought, I want to strangle that person, because everybody has those thoughts. I want to push that person off the cliff, or what, everyone has their own version of fill in the blank, right? But the danger is when we keep entertaining it and keep sort of powering that thought system, instead of stepping back. And really, for me, I even laugh at it, and I'll be laughing like, oh, I was just thinking for a second about pushing that guy off the cliff or whatever, but I don't feed that thought system, right, of, oh, now I'm bad, now I'm wrong, right? There's that egoic thought system kicking in to make me feel even worse and worse and worse. I laugh at the fact that I even had the thought for a second to, playing with my daughters or whatever. I think the key is to not get wrapped up in the victim. Even worse is, I'm a victim of me. I'm a victim of my own dark thoughts. I'm a victim, right? The ultimate thing is when you're a victim of yourself and your thoughts, because that just creates an infinity loop you can never get out of. And for me, it's just pause and say, ha ha ha, I had a dark thought. Okay, let's get back to living a loving life. On with the show.
Yeah, I think it's a part of the duality, in our mind, of having the voice of love and fear. And I think the more that we become, what you're saying is, the more that we become vigilant and just aware, and not take it so serious, and not beat yourself up or crucify yourself. Oh my God, for me, I remember back in the day, I was when I had the reverend title and I was speaking at church, which I still do, and I would have a thought of the girl that was probably staying with me, thinking for a second she's a bitch, and then I would just stop myself, and I wouldn't just to give a practical example, I wouldn't feed into it. I was like, oh my God, I just had this horrible thought about my sister, but it's not true. It's not even about her, and kind of just let it go. But I would laugh at it. I would crack up. I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out of my mind. I'm such a bitch. Just start laughing, You're so right. You're so right. It's just mind watching, it's just I feel that. And one of the things I bring up very early on in the book, Live Your Happy, is one of the reasons we suffer so much is because we don't have any idea of how our mind works. We wake up in the morning and we're transed out, like you said, in this amusement park, and make it very, very real. And we don't know how to kind of deal. But I feel that you have, through your lifetime, I sense, Ike, that from what you're talking, you're really good at that. And I feel that I am too. We're really good at, really being vigilant and choosing love more and more versus fear.
Yeah, I'd say my number one practice is being present to what is. You know, Andy, you know, she's basically my second wife, you know, greatest partner in the world. I know you all think you have the greatest partner, but here's a judgment. I have the greatest partner. Sorry, you can have the second best partner, everybody. But, you know, Andy will say to me, you know, it just seems so effortless, right? And I say, yeah, but it's just like any practice. My favorite thing to do is to practice being present to what is, being present to what is in my mind in every second, being present to the smells around me. It sounds boring to a lot. I mean, what I hear a lot is that sounds boring or that sounds hard. And so here's my human experience. My human experience is I'm just obsessed with being aware of what is. It's my favorite hobby. It's my favorite practice. I just do it all the time. And I'd say I'm really good at it. And that's not a little woohoo, Ike, you know, it's just, I don't know why this person's really good at law of attraction and this person's really good at tennis. I'm just really good at being present to what is because I'm just really good at it. I love being present to what is, whether it's, oh, I just had another thought about pushing that person off the cliff, or, oh, I just had another thought about running that person over because they won't get the hell out of my way, or da, 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 da. You know, I'm like, wow, so what is I just had that thought. So what is I need to go pick Ava up at school. So what is, you know, then I need to pick Brielle up and take him out on a shopping spree for Christmas, you know. So what is what's that smell, right? So what is without judging it, without having to turn everything into more than a thought. And the ultimate key, the ultimate what is to remember I am awareness itself. I am awareness, having a human experience in one of 7 billion whatever of everything. Everything is awareness. And I am awareness, having the experience of being this 48-year-old, really good-looking, dapper guy over here who's an exceptional father and a darn good partner and a sharp dresser, you know? So, right, I just don't take it too seriously. Even when people compliment, oh, you're the greatest coach in the world. Oh, you've transformed my life. It's like, yeah. I got to go to the bathroom. Thanks. You know, thanks. You know, I mean, I try not to discredit their acknowledgement, but you know, it's like, it's all equal. You suck, Ike, is equal to you are the greatest guru in the world, Ike. It's like, it's all equal to me. It's all, well, that's an interesting reflection. And now I'm going to make a turkey sandwich, you know.
Well, you know, there's 2 things that were coming up to me where you're speaking. I was trying to write it down and my pen wasn't working. Let me write it down real quick before I forget. So easy is normal, and then I'll go into
what's a pen?
A pen.
Is it? Oh my God, they still make those things? I just talk everything. Google, do this for me. Google, do that. Okay, Google, you know, go get me a roll of toilet paper at the store, you know. Google just does it all for me nowadays. Paper, pens. Oh.
There's 2 things that were coming up for me, which is one thing here at the end was, well, let's start with the easy. Easy is normal. So I always say easy is normal. That's what it is. Easy is normal. I feel that that state that you say that you're practicing, I feel that you keep on saying that maybe it might seem weird to people, and I think it does because it's the opposite of what we've been taught. You know, to not be still. You know, we're taught, you know, the world is to always be informed and creating, and we go to university and you get diplomas and accolades. So what I'm feeling is that easy is normal in the sense, like the state that you say that you practice, I feel is our natural state. It's really the truth of our, I feel that that's the truth. I feel that that's our natural state. I always say that, you know, if fear is normal in this world of duality, if having health issues is normal, we just feel like being fearful and sad, this is all very normal because we're attached to suffering. How about the opposite of that? You know, how about is happiness is normal? How about is having great health normal? How about is not having depression is normal? And I feel that that's the state that you're talking about. And I actually feel that is normal. That is really our inherent state of how we can really be. I feel Monday through Sunday, 24 hours a day. Why? Because we're worthy of that, you know? So that's the message I'm putting out there. It's like, that is why not the opposite? Why can't we have the opposite day? Why does it have to be like we're fearful and it's normal for us to go to the hospital and get bad news and that bad news is normal? How about the opposite about that? How about if good news is normal? How about if going to the doctor and the doctor tells you there's some cells in your body that are not working, you think, wow, there's other cells in my body that are working perfectly well, and that's normal, you know? So I wanted to bring that up because I feel that we just think it's not. You know, and I think that that's what the lessons are about in the course, the 365 lessons, is to remind us of what you're saying, that it's normal to be at peace and to be happy and to rejoice within the madness, you know? And then the second thing was that's coming up for me is the define. So you don't let something outside of you define you, you know? That's what's going on here, you know? Just like I don't let the book define me or me being an author define me. For me, it's fun and I have fun with it, but it's not like, oh my God, it's such a big deal. And I think ultimately that's why I got a book deal, is because I could hardly give a shit. So I think that's why it came.
Right on, baby, right on.
So I think that's why it came, because I wasn't, and I feel that someone that identifies with being an author and a writer, they get very caught up in it. I know, because as an actress, I did that, you know. I really identify myself as an actress, and I was hustling and going to auditions, and it really made it matter. And I would book sometimes, but most of the time I didn't, and I was very sad. Because I identified with that role as an actress. As of when I got called to be a teacher, I said, hell's no, this is going to be fun. And I'm going to make this fun, and it's not going to define me. And then I started to get all these opportunities, but it's because I didn't make it matter or let it define me, which is kind of what you just said, you know?
Yeah. I should probably try to jump off on that. One of, the first film I made, Leap, I have this guy, Gary Crowley, not a well-known name, but here's something that I love that he always said. This might seem off topic, but he said, someone said to him something about, my girlfriend's like this, my girlfriend's like that, and these are such little things. Why can't they change? And he said to the guy, well, if it's so darn easy to change, why don't you just change so what she does doesn't bother you anymore? Like, I don't know what the point in saying that was.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's true. Well, because
I think often. Go ahead.
No, you.
I know I had a point. Now here's what I deal with. Right here it is. Right, this is what we're doing. This is when the real work gets done. Where, suddenly you're lost in space, and one says to themselves, "Oh, so there's many directions I could go. I'm lost. I'm in the void. Right? I'm in the darkness. I'm in the ethereal zone right now. I could step out into." Oh no, I made a mistake in the interview. I'm bad and wrong, and boy, will I punish the crap out of myself later on for it. I'll try to recover while I'm talking to her, but then I'll just punish the crap out of myself later on. As soon as I just go, I could be on stage. I used to be on stage a lot and, doing seminars and stuff, and I would just, if I got lost, I'd be like, wait a minute, where the hell was I? Does anyone remember? Does anyone have a clue what the point was I was trying to make? Because we're supposed to remember to laugh. So you said something, I tried to play off it. I don't remember what the heck we were talking about. So let's reboot and start again, Yeah,
well, it's part of the lesson, like in action right now and in video, because I feel that for me, practicality is it, and being a living demonstration of what we're teaching is it. And that right now, you demonstrated that by catching yourself, because I could see your face a little bit like, where am I going? And then all of a sudden you were like, boom. Yeah. You could see your transition of non-judgment, of, like, this doesn't really matter. It's like when I started my Spanish service, I feel like I speak a lot better in English. So in Spanish, I was a little bit nervous when I did my first service. And I remember being like you, and I just said to myself, you know what? Who cares? Like, I'll speak the best I can, and I'll do the best I can, because I'm here to serve love. And it's not about me, Maria, the separated self. It's about me. Of course, I'm going to get nervous left and right. But, I didn't get nervous because, I just said, hey, you know what? If I don't remember a word, like you just said, I'll just ask the audience, like, how do you say this in Spanish? And I did that constantly for these 5 years. When I forgot, I don't know the word, I just say, ¿Cómo se dice? Blah, 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 and they'll give me the word. But I feel that that's just such a beautiful example to make things light for people, and that the ego wants this perfection, this, everything is perfect, and this perfection of where spirit is more joyous and flowy, and then, oh my God, let's do this perfect. So I love that demonstration that you just like literally demonstrated that you live this. So it's actually a great thing. I feel that you were such a living demonstration of that right now. And you showed a practicality. It's very practical to right there. You just shifted from judgment to non-judgment, but very quick. You know, people could be like, "Oh my God, I could do that." You know, so
Yeah, because why not do it, right? Why not?
why not? Why not? So I wanted to just wrap it up here because we're already at 9:41, I think. But I wanted to ask you. This is the question I always ask at the end, and then we'll talk about the forgiveness movie real quick at the end too, because I want people to know about that. How does Ike live his happy? How do you live your happy, Ike? We're gonna forget.
Well, you know, I never like to know questions ahead of time. So, you know, how do I live my happy? It's how I live everything. I live from what is, because whatever is what is what is. It shifts, it changes, it morphs in the minute, but you know, it morphs second a second. But the key is, you know, how I live my happy is to be present to what is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, today's the 7-year death of my father. That's what is, right? It's sad and it's freaking awesome when I think back to all the incredible stuff that he did and how he influenced me and how he made it so easy for me to be a father for my 2 daughters, because I just do what he did. He was so freaking good at being, you know, my father, that I just do it. I just do what he did. He made my life so easy. I miss him today. I miss him today probably more than any other day. You know, it's sad and it's awesome. And that's what is. I'm sad and I'm ecstatically happy and grateful and thankful, all simultaneously in this moment. So that's how I live my happy.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I'm sure he's here with us right now, enjoying this moment with us. All right, so let's talk real quick to kind of wrap this up with such joy about the forgiveness movie that you produced and I was part of. We have a great trailer about it, and I'll be more than happy to put it on the link, the trailer, and I know that you're looking for people to invest in the movie.
We have been taking donations, but we've really shifted people actually from the forum world to donate to Red Cross and things like that with the hurricanes or the California wildfires. We're kind of at a point where we're just telling people to donate. In the forum world, I've been saying, just go donate to Puerto Rico or something. So sure, if someone wanted to donate, they could go there. But I invite people to donate to something that in the forum world occurs, like clean water in Puerto Rico or somewhere else would be a better thing. So that's my suggestion. We're not really asking for donations. We'll make it happen one way or the other. And we'll be releasing the first movie of at least 3, I don't know, in a week or so. We'll suddenly just put it up and it'll be free for people to watch. You know, that's the beauty.
The forgiveness one or another one?
The forgiveness one. It's part of a trilogy. So the intention, since you're primarily an A Course in Miracles audience, the goal of this trilogy is to sort of slowly guide people into, you know, a non-dualistic teaching like A Course in Miracles. And so people may watch the first one and say, well, this has a lot of practical sort of form world stuff, but it's all designed to be part of a trilogy that brings a new audience into the first film and the next film, and slowly let them get the concept of taking on being, this film gets them to the concept of being 100% responsible, and the next film will take them into looking at sort of a more spiritual, non-dualistic model. We barely touch on it in this film. I mean, I guess that's not really true because all of my stuff really takes people into the spiritual, metaphysical aspects of it. But this film is to sort of try to inspire a new audience to take a look at non-dualistic teachings. And the next film will whack them over the head really hard. Wake up. So this film will be coming out in a week or 2 tops. I'm, you know, refining things and wrapping things up, but you are in it. Ed Asner's in it. I always tell my daughters, they're like, who's that again? I'll say, you know, that guy, the old guy in the cartoon Up, you know, the guy behind that voice, that guy. Louis Gossett Jr. is in it from Write It Like an Officer and a Gentleman. Maria Felipe is in it. Mike Dooley makes an appearance in it, you know, so there's a lot of different interesting people in it, and it guides people. It introduces people to the first phase, I would say, of what if you chose to be in your mind 100% responsible for everything happening in your life, and then we'll get right in there on the second and third film with them. So
That's
they can go to. I'm sorry.
That's amazing. It sounds. I'm getting excited just to be talking about it. I'm gonna go ahead and put a link on for that on this video so people can check it out. I saw the trailer and it's very well done. And being you know, I used to do acting for about 20 years, and just seeing projects like this come out, such as that the ones that you produce, are just so helpful. And it's beautiful to have in the media things such as this that are inspiring and help us wake up. So thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. And of course, it's fun. I do it because I'm inspired to. So what else am I going to do?
Yes, and what's beautiful is that we are both very highly into donations and just letting things go. That's how I do my work. Christian and I work on a lot of 9-week programs together, and they're all donation based, and we just trust, and we're not concerned about because we know we're always taken care of and provided for, you know. Sometimes Christian gets a little freaked out. He's like, well, what do you mean we're not going to charge for this? And I said, no. I go, let's just give it over, and let's, you know, that's what trust is about. So I feel that we're both kind of on the same track there. No, there's no coincidence why we were brought together today. So at this time, I just want to thank our audience for taking the time to watch the video. Ike and I just really are coming from the heart to be able to be truly helpful, or our purpose here is to be truly helpful. And I invite you to check out the website Avaya. What's it? Avaya.com. Avaya.com. Okay, because I wasn't sure it was .org, so Avaya.com.
6 letters, hard to spell, AVAIYA.com. But Maria's going to put a link down there somewhere that's going to make people's lives so easy, right?
Yeah, so they can find it.
Okay.
And yeah, it's all about making it easy.
Absolutely. And if they sign up for our basic newsletter, then we send them everything we send them all the updates for we'll rotate through showing free films and other things like that. So we'll just send them links to stuff like that, including the first Forgiveness Key film. So.
Perfect. So everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Ike, for taking the time. We've talked about maybe 45 minutes, but I feel that it's been so powerful, everything that we've shared together. And I just want to let everybody know that, you know, living your happy is basically what Ike and I were sharing, which is living a life of being very present, you know, just being very, very present in the moment and having acceptance of what is, and taking responsibility and recognizing that we have everything. Ultimately, we lack nothing. So thank you, Ike. I want to invite you to just jump in the happy train with me. So at the end here, we just choo choo. We're in the happy train. Choo choo. I do this. All right. Thank you. Until next time, everyone. We love you. Bye.
Have fun out there.
Bye-bye.